This is Nadine bringing you Ventura Vibe, a podcast featuring the local treasures of people and places that make our community here in Ventura so special. I've got interviews, games, community resources, and volunteer opportunities to get us connected. So let's get started. Today's show is all about a new local treasure in the making, Ventura County Ice Sports. We'll have a cool game later, aptly called Ice Ice Baby, and then we'll see how we can help in the community chest segment. I am so excited to talk with Wendi Cool, president of VC Ice Sports. Welcome to the show, Wendi.
Thank you, Nadine.
So, what is VC Ice Sports?
We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and our mission is to bring about the return of ice sports and recreation to Western Ventura County. Ice Center that we envision will host tournaments, competitions, and other events that will attract visitors to our community who will spend money locally and support local businesses.
That's really important right now.
I think so. And we also have some plans that we're really excited about to reinvent the standard concept of an ice rink and create a community ice center.
How was this born? Because I recall we had an ice rink. So give me a little bit of background here.
Okay. Unfortunately, the old rink, which was located at Wagon Wheel for 17 years, was not included in the planned fixed-use development slated for the property. There was no reason to tear down the rink. It was operating with positive cash flow and offering a variety of programs that served the community. Our group, VCI Sports, was born out of the old rink, and our nonprofit corporation was formed in 2021. And we have formed a new group, new leadership, and exciting plans to create a community ice center with the motto, Ice is for everyone.
So this organization was born out of the ice rink that closed. Can you give us some details on why it closed and what's happened since?
Well, the property was bought by a developer, and the plan just did not work out to include the ice rink on the property. We tried and we wanted to have that happen, and it just wasn't going to be feasible. So we unfortunately had to come to the point of closing the doors, which I had worked there from the day it opened to the day it closed. And my kids grew up there. And so it was really devastating to me on a very personal level, but to all of us, because we really did have a sense of community, especially during the last year when we were trying everything we could think of to save it and keep it open. And to not have success with that was just devastating. So we decided, after the rink closed in 2016, we all kind of had to create a new reality for ourselves at different rinks. I just so happened to have lost 75% of my students who just weren't willing to commute. So I had to completely start over with my business, which is coaching students, teaching them how to skate. And so it took a little while for us to come back together and start talking about it. And we had a couple meetings and we were like, let's just try. Let's just make a try for it. And that's what we're doing right now.
I have an experience too. It's part of my life here in Ventura County. My son was enrolled in some classes at the ice rink, and every holiday we got to go to a holiday party there at the rink. It made it very festive. So I support bringing back an ice rink to our area.
It's a great story.
That's my personal connection. So tell us about some of the programs that you want to offer through this new organization.
One of the things we'd like to do is create opportunities for high school and college students by offering work study programs and summer internships. We plan to work with the Los Angeles Kings to bring their high school hockey and Little Kings programs to our community. We're inspired by figure skating in Harlem and plan to offer an after-school program that offers ice sports and recreation along with academic support, including STEM and physics concepts. That's super exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
And the program Figure Skating in Harlem is just for girls who figure skate. Well, we'd like to take that to another level and make it inclusive to all genders and feature a variety of sports and recreation activities.
Sounds very ambitious.
Yeah, we also think the Ice Center can be a place for the community to come to do special events, maybe related to ice skating, but maybe to other things. And I don't know if you're aware, but out of Channel Islands Ice Center, the second sled hockey team in California was formed.
No.
Sled hockey for individuals that are differently abled. And so we hope to revive that sled hockey team, perhaps create a wheelchair curling team, and of course, adaptive skating programs.
Wow, this sounds really innovative and branching out. I'm very excited. How did these programs come about? What inspired you to be more inclusive?
I think that's just the way our group is. We had originally looked at a for-profit business model, but we just had so much of an interest in inclusion and outreach that we realized we had to go in the direction of a nonprofit.
Makes sense. Let's get into the basics of where is the proposed location for the new rink?
We are currently looking at a 20-acre parcel of land that's owned by the city of Oxnard. It's located at Oxnard Boulevard and Gonzales Road next to Pacifica High School. And that kind of ties into connecting with the LA Kings high school hockey program and then the work study programs that I mentioned earlier.
Seems fortuitous to be very close to that high school.
And for 20 years, the Oxnard community has been told that there would be a sports park there. And it seems as though it's come to the point now where the city is going to take a look at how they can make that happen.
Okay, so let's clarify. The city of Oxnard is proposing a big sports complex, and the rink would be inside.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, that's what you're hoping to get into. But there's some hoops to jump through. Tell us about those.
Well, currently, since, as I mentioned, the city is looking at maybe making a start to getting the sports park developed. So as part of that process, they are starting to do community outreach. The first, which was Sports Park Idea Day, which was held on April 30th on the property. And different organizations who had an idea for the sports park came and set up booths and reached out to the community. And then a survey was taken that day. And that kind of brings us to the meeting that's happening on Wednesday, which we haven't yet talked about, but the survey will be presented to the Oxnard Parks and Rec Commission at their meeting Wednesday at 5:30. And we are asking the community who is interested in bringing back the ice rink to come to the meeting and wear royal blue and stand with us to create a powerful visual of the ice rink that has support as being part of the sports park. I really think that the community could work together to create something amazing and unique with the 20-acre parcel. The ice rink would just be a small portion of it. But there's many things that can happen there that the community could enjoy.
In the process for approval, your part, the rink, the ice sports complex part, needs to be approved to be a part of the larger recreation complex.
Correct.
And so there's a meeting coming up on Wednesday to approve or to accept the ice rink as part of the plan to move forward.
Yes, to show that ice sports has support.
At the end of this podcast, I will mention the details of the meeting, the where and the when. So stay tuned for that. So I'm really excited about all the details. I went through the website and I saw there's great visuals and there's some really amazing features to this ice rink portion. Describe the layout. There's going to be how many rinks?
Our goal is to have 2 NHL size ice sheets, which is 200 feet by 85 feet. And that was where we started. Okay. Over the time, as we've started doing community outreach, people have been speaking up that they would like a dedicated curling ice surface.
Ooh.
Curling is very popular right now. And in fact, Team USA's Paralympic wheelchair curling team went to the 2022 Paralympics and ultimately finished 5th place, which that's not bad for the Olympics.
All right.
But it just goes to show that even our differently abled athletes can find success and even go to the Olympics. Who knows? If we're able to start that wheelchair curling team I talked about, we may send a wheelchair curler to the Olympics someday.
That would be amazing. You said there's 2 rinks, right? Is that a separate thing?
Well, what we'd like to do with the 2 NHL rinks, one of them, we would like to make it an arena style with 1,400 real seats that you can actually sit down in. And that would be where we would host certain events, hockey games, figure skating competitions. And the other rink would be what we're calling the bleacher rink with 200 bleacher seats, a more casual and informal setting. And then separately, dedicated curling ice would be in a separate building with a different kind of ice.
Okay.
Now you can paint the curling circles onto one of the NHL or both NHL seats, and hockey games can proceed with no problem with those markings. And that's how it is actually at the rink in Simi Valley. They have the curling marks painted under the ice. And so that's a possibility if budget just simply does not allow us to build a separate facility. Also, what I learned is you can actually project the curling circles on with special lighting in case you don't want to paint them on.
Oh, yes.
And then, 3 ice surfaces would be great. We could get by with 2. And also we'd like to have an outdoor multi-purpose area.
Ooh, tell me about that.
We'd like to have it covered and able to support a variety of activities, not just Ice Center, but the community could use the covered space as well. Dryland training can take place under there, possibly roller skating. And also in case of future COVID closures, which totally shut down everything as we know, we could transfer some of our activities and training to the outdoor multipurpose space and still stay open.
Sounds amazing. We are going to take a little break. When we come back, I'm going to wrap up the interview. We'll find out more about the ice rinks and the sports complex. And then I'm going to ask Wendi where she gets her Ventura Vibe on. We'll play our game, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening to Ventura Vibe, a podcast celebrating the local treasures of Ventura, California. I'm your host, Nadine. With me today is Wendi Cool, president of VC Ice Sports. And we've been talking about a proposed new ice rink in the Oxnard area. I'm very intrigued about the programs. You mentioned that the National Hockey League Kings might get involved with 2 programs, one at the high school level and one with the Little Kings. Tell me about both of those.
Well, Little Kings is really a popular program, ages 5 to 10, boys and girls. It is such a nice introductory program, and people get really excited about it. What's really cool about it is that the kids get a full head-to-toe equipment setup. The pricing is reasonable, and they get a series of opportunities to work with different coaches, some of them LA Kings coaches, and they also include local coaches in the program. And it's just great. The hockey program is kind of similar to that, only it's for older, obviously high school kids.
So it would definitely have a relationship with the National Hockey League too.
Definitely. And it's kind of neat to get gear of your team, your favorite team, to wear the jerseys and promote your favorite team. So that's what's kind of neat about it, is just the prestige of the Kings name and the wonderful things that it does for many communities in our area.
There would be a lot of excitement for that in my household. Let me just tell you right now. So in the grand scheme of things, where are you now moving forward?
So where we are, we hope to get the city of Oxnard interested in supporting the ice rink, just to put it bluntly. Similar to what happened up in Santa Clarita, when that rink was faced with closure, the city stepped in and bought it, reopened it, working with the Kings to manage it, rebranded it, and it's doing great. And hopefully we can show our city that our rink has very much support and would be a wonderful asset to the community. And there's multiple different ways that the city can get on board and help to make this happen. I definitely, at the meeting on Wednesday, my plan is to ask that they do a lot more community outreach. And I'd like to ask them to create a citizens advisory group so that we can come together and create the most amazing sports park you can imagine right in our own city.
That would be amazing. There's an urgency now. Tell me about that. What's happening now?
The survey that I mentioned earlier that was taken at Sports Park Idea Day, which will be presented to Parks and Rec on Wednesday, has two problems. Number one, there were only 164 survey participants. In a city the size of Oxnard, over 200,000 people, that is far too small of a sample size to determine what should be going into the sports park. The second problem with it is a problem from my perspective. Of the 164 people, overwhelmingly, they chose soccer, baseball, and softball. So I know that ice has more support than is shown on that survey. So the urgency is to come to this meeting on Wednesday, wear blue. You don't even have to talk and know that ice has support. And we show the community that, hey, you guys got to do some more outreach because you didn't really include ice in that survey.
I'm going to come to my final question.
Okay.
And then a little later, after our game, we'll have some more information for people about how they can help. Wendi, where do you get your Ventura Vibe on?
Camarillo, Mission Oaks Dog Park.
Awesome.
It's awesome. We walk through the barranca behind the dog park and our dogs just love it. And we get a lot of exercise too from that walk.
That sounds like an amazing place. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you. So right now, it's time for a game. I'm calling Ice Ice Baby, of course. Wendi, what is your favorite activity to do on ice?
I love making up little dances, and I'm now getting interested in creating TikTok dances in skates. I did the first one. It's on VCI Sports TikTok. If you guys want to check it out, and anyone on TikTok, please duet with me.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Question number 2. What feature are you most excited to see in a new ice sports center?
That is definitely our plans for inclusion and outreach and creating a true community ice center. The entire community can enjoy it, even if they just drop by on a hot day to cool off.
Awesome. And final question. How would the new ice sports center be green?
Recently, I had the privilege of going to Seattle and going on a sustainability tour of the brand new Climate Pledge Arena. They set the bar high for environmental responsibility, and I brought home a ton of information, just some things that we plan to do: solar, whenever it does rain, rainwater retention, setting goal for net zero, no single-use plastics. That's just to name a few.
Those sound really great and a very environmentally sound facility. And now it's time for the community chest segment. More than volunteering, how can the community support your effort?
They can check out our website, and on the very top of the website, you will see a link to make a donation. As a 501c3 nonprofit, all donations are tax exempt. And then next to that donation button is a petition button. We actually have a petition on change.org that has over 1,800 signatures, and that can be done. That doesn't cost a penny for you to sign and show your support for ICE. Going to the meeting on Wednesday is last minute notice, but that would be the ideal thing. And if you keep up with us on social media, we're on all the social media channels, VCI Sports. You'll find out about different meetings and keep updated on the progress that we're making.
Sounds like great ways to get involved, find information about what's going on, and to help this great organization become a part of our community. And if listeners want more information, let's give the web address one more time.
www.vcisports.org. Okay. It's short for Ventura County Ice Sports.
Very good. Okay. And then we have a little time. Do you have any final thoughts? Something you want to leave listeners with?
I think it is very important that people come to this meeting and stand with us. They say that you have 10 seconds to make a first impression. If we have 100 people there wearing blue, that's going to make an impression. So that's just, I think, the most important thing. I think if we can't get the city of Oxnard on board, we're going to be, pretty much looking at not being able to be part of the sports park. And I've actually spoken at 19 Oxnard meetings, community, city, and that was because I had spoken with a couple of the council members who said, you've got to do community outreach. You have to show us that the community wants this. So it's important. And this is it. This might be our last chance.
Okay.
So please come to the meeting, wear blue.
Okay. I'll try to get this out too as quickly as possible. Well, that's our show for today. I want to thank Wendi Cool, president of VCI Sports, for joining me today. This is my first emergency pod. I really wanted to support Ventura Ice Sports and the return of an ice rink or two to our community. I was very sad when the ice rink at Wagon Wheel closed. It had become part of my family's life. My son took classes there, participated in some of the hockey outreach programs. So fun. We skated there in the summer on really hot days, and we attended an annual holiday party, which became one of our favorite holiday traditions for many years. I cannot tell you how happy and excited I am to see VCI Sports' effort to potentially bring this amazing world-class sports facility to our community, and all the programs they're envisioning, and the broadened notions of what an ice sports facility can offer, and to who it can offer. So, I'll be at the Oxnard Parks Recreation and Community Services meeting on Wednesday, July 27th at 5:30 p.m. at the Oxnard Council Chambers, 305 West 3rd Street, Oxnard, California, 93030. And I'll be wearing blue. Thanks so much for listening to Ventura Vibe, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the community of Ventura, California.